bittersweet tonight, Brett, with great performance, but some injuries there.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought the performance was outstanding. Players out of position. I thought Lovadil was brilliant. I thought Lingy at back row was outstanding. Across the board, 1 to 17, I can't be unhappy with anyone's performance. The concerning thing is injuries, but it's concerning as well because we were put in this situation off a 4-day turnaround at this time of the year, and I know we're doing a lot for player welfare around yellow cards and making sure that we're looking after players, but then we expect them to turn around and perform after a short period. We had no training going into this game other than a small run yesterday. So, it is bittersweet, definitely.
I think everybody in the ground felt for Joe Cater. Is that the Achilles again?
It is, yes.
Right, so that's pretty serious then, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're all gutted. Again, it's hard to enjoy a night like this when one of your own gets hurt the way he did.
What happened with Kane Evans?
His calf tightened up back end of his second stint. So at the time, we just weren't willing to risk putting him back on. So hopefully he'll be okay. But time will tell over the next week or so.
Was Jamie Shaw head knock with Foster too?
No, his was also calf and tightened up. So the conditions again, both played last weekend. It's fatigue that's put into the place.
And Sartai, just while I'm going through them,
it looked like I was a bit concerned at the start that it was his hamstring, but he's quite adamant that it was only tightness and just a little bit of cramp. So he should be okay.
Back to the performance, all those things considering, there were some wonderful individual efforts, but as a team, how impressive was that? Yeah,
very impressive. And we got the balance wrong last week. We tried to win the game early and didn't earn the right to play. And that's what was so disappointing. It's not necessarily the loss against Castleford, it was the manner in which we lost. And we spoke a lot about this week, and we had some good, hard, brutal conversations this weekend about what's required at this level to be consistent. And everyone knows that, we're a club that's inconsistent, and we needed to turn up today and we needed to right last week's performance. But now we need to continue doing that, and that's what we just spoke of after the game.
Was that first 40 in particular the best of the season so far?
Yes, yeah. And look, to be fair, I think that's probably that performance in general across the board, especially with players that we didn't have playing. It's probably the best since I've been at the club as well.
Jake Connor again, I know he always stands out because of what he does, but just talk to us about some of those bits of skill, 2 tries and an assist in that first half.
Yeah, definitely, and he got the balance right again. Jake again was guilty last week of overplaying his hand early. I love that he ran the ball in the first set. We haven't seen that from him for a number of weeks, and that meant that he was willing to do the hard stuff, and he will always get rewards with what he can do with his skill. If we, as a team, roll our sleeves up and put him in that position, and that's what we did this week, and that's why Lovadua and Ben McNamara I thought were excellent in their ball control, and we completed high and we gave Jake an opportunity.
Yeah, Ben McNamara particularly, the control he showed, considering he was the senior of the 2 halves this evening. Yeah,
definitely. And Joe has played halfback growing up in his career in Australia, so it didn't surprise me that he would perform well. I think he's been an outstanding acquisition for our club.
Any relief coming on the injury front? Any of the long-termers? Anybody else coming back?
Manu should be right for next weekend, which would be pleasing. But we're in a situation at the moment where we're always getting 1 or 2 back and then 1 or 2 out. So that's a frustrating thing. But I think Manu should be right next week. Then hopeful that the following week Carlos and Darnell McIntosh will be right.
Quite pleased you've got 9 days between now and Huddersfield, I guess.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.
Just on the turnaround between the games, when Thursday nights were introduced, was it not said that teams wouldn't do Sunday to Thursday games?
I believe so, and we as a club we should have picked it up earlier, but we didn't, and because obviously we got our eyes on certain things that are happening immediately, and when we brought it to the attention, it was too late to change.
On to Jake, the obvious thing is the whole England thing. If he keeps performing like that, it'll be impossible to leave out, won't it? Yeah, look, Jake's an exceptional talent. He's got to get the consistency, but as a team, we've got to be consistent to allow Jake to play at that level. And it's very difficult for any fullback or any ball player in any team to perform unless you've got the platform to allow you to be in those positions on the field. So, I think Jake was disappointed. His own admission was disappointed about last weekend's game. I thought his intent today was outstanding. How do you make someone as talented as Jake more consistent? Is it only him that can do it?
It's part of him. But again, it's he will be more consistent if we as a team collectively are more consistent as well. And, the difficult thing about that is that we haven't had a consistent team since I've been here. So, what comes first, consistency or players playing together for large periods, and then you develop those relationships and those combinations and things. So we've constantly lacked that, and that's a contributed factor. But we need to make sure that regardless of who is playing, we're doing the hard stuff to get rewards.
Thank you. Brett, just how much of a concern is the amount of injuries picking up at the minute?
Yeah, it is a concern, obviously. We're looking at all the data at training and everything like that, and I dare say anyone who's on a 4-day turnaround at this time of the year is going to pick up some sort of injuries. But we'll continue to look at what we're doing, and hopefully we're having a bad run of injuries early in the season and we can get some players back late.
You mentioned Lovadua. I mean, you picked him in their stand-off position. He was great tonight, wasn't he?
He was excellent. I love that he's a natural try scorer as well. He's got 3 now, I think. Some players just know how to get over the line. He's busy. His ball control was excellent. I thought he and Ben, the combination that they had, along with Denny Houghton, who I thought was excellent today as well, created a really good platform for us to play off.
You picked him at half-back, you picked him at hooker, you picked him at loose forward, second row, and he went into centre today. Is there any way you can't play?
Maybe front row. I don't know if he's big enough for a front row.
Give it a try.
Yeah, he will do. He'll play wherever we want him to, and that's what we love about the kid.
And now is the challenge to iron out this inconsistency now and just, build on that next Sunday against Huddersfield.
Definitely, and they're going really well at the moment. I'm looking forward to watching their game over the weekend and see how they perform. But I think they're a much better team than what they were 12 months ago, or even 6 months ago at the back end of last year. So that's going to be a big challenge. And again, we'd ideally like to have our best 17 out in the field, but it's not going to happen. So whoever plays needs to make sure that we're performing with the same willingness